For me, travel hacking is learning about what different credit card points or mile has to offer for you. I would say there's definitely a win when I'm able to successfully travel hack. Right now, I have about 30 active cards. I treat my credit cards like they're cash. Even though I don't keep like a budget sheet, I just go by memory and keep a mental note of what card I used for that month. I have this silly goal for myself. Let me just see if I can just go to 35 countries before I turn 35. Right now, I'm at 33 countries. My name is David Doe. I'm 33 years old. I make $78,000 as a social worker, and I've redeemed over 1 million travel points. For me, travel hacking is learning about what different credit card points or mile has to offer for you, and you kind of make sure it fits your needs. I would say there's definitely a win when I'm able to successfully travel hack. Travel hacking all depends on what your goals are when it comes to traveling. One example is I know if I have like a big expense coming up, then I'll try to time it accordingly with one of the credit cards that offers like a big sign-up bonus. Then I'll get the points while I make this big purchase. When it comes to like my system, there is a method to this madness. I know people tend to have like the proper way of using Excel sheet. I don't use Excel sheet at all. Truthfully, I just go by memory and just be like, oh yeah, I did apply for this card, last year. All the apps are on my phone. It's pretty accessible, so I can see what's due for next month or what balance I have and when it's due. I have no worries about mismanaging my debt for my credit card. Even though I don't keep like a budget sheet, I just, pretty much just go by memory and keep a mental note of what card I use for that month, especially if I'm, working in like a category for that bonus month, or, if I'm working on like a new card that I'm trying to get the minimum spend for. My biggest expense would be my mortgage. Fortunately, I was able to buy at a time where interest rates were relatively low. I do have HOA fees that's a little bit hefty, but it's still pretty decent value for what it is in South Florida. I have a 401k through my employer, and my goal is to ideally try to max that out. I do have a Roth IRA, which I contribute every year. I have a brokerage account as well. I also do have a high yield savings account, which if I need to, to access my funds, then I can use that and still earn high interest on. I do have a cell phone bill, but that's already been prepaid ahead of time. I do pay for my mom's insurance for her supplement. Other than that, I don't have any debts, no car note or no student loans or anything like that. Thankfully, I had very supportive parents, and at that time I was living at home. My goal after graduating was A, get a job, and B, pay off the student loans, and then C, eventually buy a house. I made sure I budget everything accordingly. Living at home made it a lot easier because, I could prioritize certain things I need to. My parents immigrated here to the US back in the 80s. They are actually refugees from Vietnam, so when the Vietnam War ended, they wanted to seek a better opportunity. Growing up with money, my parents were always very, very frugal with things. We've always lived below our means. But I think in the grand scheme of things, they were being smart with their money. I think the greatest thing I learned from my parents is differentiating between the difference of wants and needs. I didn't really, have a solid idea of what I wanted to do in mind. It was kind of like a struggle. I was really blessed that they were able to accept me because I didn't have any experience. Eventually, I got a little tired of working in an inpatient setting because of the hours and the amount of days I've chosen to work. Then I transitioned to being a field case manager for an insurance company, and that was when I really took advantage of all the things that they had to offer, including like tuition and certifications. My primary role is doing case management. With my role, we all kind of like work collaboratively with each other, with the nurses, with the office managers, doctors, and nurse practitioners. Right now, I'm enrolled at University of Alabama at Birmingham for a master's degree in sociology. I felt like it was, worth going to school for because it was covered by my job. I've always been interested in studying sociology, but never got the chance to in undergrad. So when that opportunity came and everything was covered, I said, okay, this opportunity is good to pass up. I feel like it would complement well with social work and, learning more about social justice. Been trying to read up more on personal finance, but I read a few authors that kind of inspired me. One of the things that caught my attention was Coastfire, being able to work part-time until retirement age. So that's something that I've been kind of looking more into and hope to aim for maybe in the next couple of years to have that option. I don't have a specific plan of when to retire. I think my goal right now is to contribute as much as I can to retirement, but also trying to live like a fulfilling life. And with my job being flexible, I think it's giving me that opportunity too. I wouldn't say I have a particular number in mind. I would say, I want to be able to make it to 1 million, so that way I can say that I'm a millionaire.